No, it wasn't. It was Samhain, a Celtic holiday. This is the claim that comes up every year, forever, because nobody can do any research anymore, apparently. Or it amounts to Googling things, which just brings up the abundance of confirmation bias. Oh dear, my phone is precariously bad. Halloween started out as a Christian holiday called All Hallows Eve. Hallow meaning holy in Old English, and it was the evening before All Hallows Day, which was All Saints Day. And traditionally, historically, the church had a service in the evening before the main day of a feast day. So All Hallows Day had All Hallows Eve, which is a contraction into Halloween. All Saints Day originated in the 7th century as a particular day. Pope Boniface IV, and he consecrated the Pantheon, which was a Roman temple. He was turned into a church, and they consecrated it to St. Mary of the Martyrs. And the date of this consecration was to be remembered annually as a celebration as the Feast of Holy Martyrs. Now, what you're probably thinking is that this was November 1st or October 31st, and you would be wrong. The date of consecration was May the 13th, and this was the original day for All Saints Day, or the precursor, the All Martyrs Day. And then in the year 835, Pope Gregory IV changed the date to November the 1st to line up with the consecration of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, which was then dedicated to all the saints, hence All Saints Day. They extended the feast from all of the Holy Martyrs to all of the saints because there was just too many people being killed. So instead of having individual days throughout the year for different saints, the people who got missed or they just didn't know about, lumped together, all celebrated November 1st as a sort of catch-all for everyone who's died for the faith. But this may be the origination of the specific festival of All Saints Day, but the remembrance of martyrs as an annual event goes back to like the 2nd century, originating around Syria and Turkey. One of the earliest references is in the martyrdom of Polycarp, which was written in 135. And after he was killed, they take his body, his bones, as precious jewels almost to keep his memory alive. The next reference comes in 250 in the Epistle of Cyprian, where he says that we should remember the days that martyrs would die, to remember them as an annual event to commemorate, almost like a birthday, but more of a death day. And this continues on from the 3rd, 4th, 5th century, which is why in the 7th century it became a formalized thing, and then later, 100 years later, it became All Saints Day. So it didn't just pop up out of nowhere in the 7th century. It had at least, 400, 500, 600 years prior to that of history of doing this. And long before anyone had probably even heard of Ireland or been there, or even met anyone Celtic who might happen to be doing something at the end of summer, which is all Samhain means, summer's end. So every culture has some kind of festival in the harvest time. That's not controversial. But to say that because the Celts did this and the church did this at the same time, therefore they are linked, or the church is going to overwrite the Celtic thing, is just rubbish. Not to mention that one of the earliest sources we have, which is from 830 AD, let me try and get the word in, the Martyrology of Talat, I'm saying that right, that mentions a feast for all the saints and all the martyrs, which was widespread across the whole of Europe. And more specifically, this was celebrated on April the 20th, not end of October. So the original day was in May. Ireland was celebrating it, and all of Europe apparently, in April. So this lines up around the time of Pope Boniface's declaration of when the date should be. And obviously by this time, the declaration of changing it to November 1st obviously hadn't reached the Celtic Isles just yet. So they were still celebrating in April. So still no connection to Samhain. And then really just to cap all this off, the first mention of Samhain only comes in Irish folklore in the 10th century. So there you go. November 1st, May, April, All Saints' Day was being celebrated in Ireland, in Europe, hundreds of years before Irish folklore even mentioned Samhain. So there you have it, a quick 5-minute history of All Saints' Day and how it is not connected to Samhain, and anything else to do with Halloween is mostly 19th century commercialization and just an uptake in neo-pagans trying to reclaim it. It's just basically a commercialized venture to sell sweets and chocolate and make money.